Welcome to the Thriving Farmer Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Kilpatrick. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and celebrate sustainable farming. We believe that you can build a profitable, sustainable farm that gives you true farm freedom. Join us as we talk to farmers, innovators, educators, and entrepreneurs to glean their top takeaways in business and life. Hey, Thriving Farmers, Michael Kilpatrick here with a special episode of the Thriving Farmer Podcast. Today joining me is Bob Rimol, who is the owner and president of Rimol Greenhouses, which has been in existence, I think, Bob, you said 27 years now?
Yeah, I began the business in 1994. I actually am a transplant from New Jersey. My wife and I came up to New Hampshire with two young infants, and I started the business in a small space in a rented condo. And originally, very humble beginnings, originally started out as a manufacturer's rep, but within 5 years transitioned into a manufacturer of greenhouse structures and a distributor of all of the parts and pieces and supplies that go with the structures.
Yeah. What got you into greenhouses? Do you have a background in agriculture or floriculture?
So I have a degree from University of Vermont in agricultural and resource economics with a minor in plant and soil science. I've always had green blood, and I've always enjoyed horticulture and agriculture. The irony of my career is that when I graduated college, I actually went into a family business, which was within the machine tool industry. And I really did not like it. And after a few years, I left it and I got into horticulture. And then my wife and I wanted to come up to New England. She's originally from Massachusetts. So in circling all around, I started my business. I was always very interested in greenhouse structures from day one. I've always loved construction and just the technical merits of, environmental controlled environments. But I never thought I would get back into manufacturing, and I guess I could just never fully get rid of it. So I'm pretty lucky to have both the manufacturing background and the horticultural agricultural background.
Absolutely. Now, in 27 years, what's been some of the big changes that have happened?
So what's interesting is when I started out the business, no one really ever heard of high tunnels or much. There wasn't even much growing of any type of vegetables in structure. So I was really focused on the horticultural end of things, growing bedding plants, poinsettias, mums, nursery stock. So, we were, back in the early days, I was 100% focused on structures really relevant to that. And then probably about, even hydroponics at that point was such a risky business. People were failing left and right that got into hydroponics. But probably about 10 years in, maybe 10 to 15 years in, we pivoted. And I started seeing the interest developing with, season extension and high tunnels and, the whole vegetable movement. And, myself, along with everybody else in the company, we just embraced it completely. And today I would say, 60% of our sales are related to vegetable growing greenhouses, mostly high tunnels, movable structures, some hydroponics, but it has been a complete pivot of where we started to where we are right now.
Yeah, I think we bought our first tunnel from you in, I think, either 2006 or 2007, somewhere around there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk about the issue at hand, which is the supply chain, steel prices. It's gone crazy.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the world is sideways right now, and when you really look at the big picture of things, you're wondering why are things so screwy? I mean,
Mhm.
I've heard that automobile plants are starting to shut down now because they can't get the materials that they need to produce vehicles. So what's I mean, unfortunately, the root of it all starts with COVID-19.
Mhm.
It's a global problem. Every day you turn on the news, you hear about, how we're all getting vaccinated in the United States. But honestly, if we don't fix the problem on a global basis, with 8 billion people in the world, we're still going to continue to have these problems because, there's so much trade that occurs on a global basis. If you're going to make steel, someone's got to go and mine the iron ore and mine the zinc. And, you know, these ingredients are brought in from all over the world.
Mhm.
They've got to get to shipping containers and trucks. And, that's why, people don't realize how badly the supply chain really is broken right now. And it doesn't matter if it's steel or aluminum or chemicals or,
Greenhouse
uh,
plastic.
computer chips, greenhouse plastic,
Yeah.
polycarbonate. There's I mean, if you're in business today, you will have curveballs thrown at you every day right now.
Mhm.
It is just insane,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
So what has happened to the price of steel in the last 6 months?
So really, it started happening last fall, is that the price started going up, and from probably September, October to now, we've seen about a 50 to 60% price increase in steel.
Oh, wow.
So unfortunately, everything with steel is just going to inflate. Whether it's a greenhouse or doors or exhaust fans or anything.
Mhm.
We've seen aluminum prices are going up. They've been going up at a slower and steadier pace, but they are increasing.
Mhm.
So, when you're building a greenhouse and you have, wire lock and, polycarbonate extrusions, those
Mhm.
prices are going up as well. Plastics, a little bit. I'm not as tuned into the plastics market. I mean, I know polycarbonate has gone up a little. I don't know how other plastics have, but I mean, the other piece of this is just supply.
Mhm.
If you order something today, when will you get it? Will you get it? Will you get your order complete? That's the other unknown right now with the lead times.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Because all that stuff has to come from somewhere. And if they happen to shut down for some reason for something, then it's just delaying everybody. And I think you're also seeing too, Bob, is that the demand for local produce has last year exploded, which means more people are trying to buy things, which is also screwing up because there's usually some of these supply places only plan for a certain number of capacity.
Yeah, I mean, I think the good news for our industry is that business is way up. I mean, if you're, a farmer or a garden center owner, what happened was last spring, people stayed home and they embraced, a more simpler life, more wholesome food, locally grown, which is fantastic. I mean, people got out and started gardening in their backyards more, and it's been a wonderful transition. And I think it's something that it's not going to go away. I think it's here permanently, but it was. I believe this was a wake up call. We see this in other parts of the world.
Mhm.
Especially in Europe, people have been like this for decades, but in America, it was almost like we've kind of hit the reset button for a more simpler, more wholesome lifestyle. And yes, with the demand way up, I mean, it's great. It's great for people, but it brings on new challenges.
Absolutely. And I know labor has also been a challenge for you as well, just because of a lot of things changing and just manufacturing in general.
Yeah, so I think what's interesting is, last year we had a huge surge in unemployment. Since we have recovered in the last year, just as an example, in the state of New Hampshire, we had unemployment at one point nearing 20%. And today our unemployment figures are down to only 3%. So again,
oh my gosh.
yeah, and it's different from state to state, but what a huge change it is. It's really hard to find people to work. Especially what's amazing is, when you turn on the TV, you see a lot of companies advertising for help. That's how aggressive people are these days. This is also a big factor that's affected the trucking industry. So all of our goods are shipped via trucks, and there's a shortage of trucking. So sometimes, you have ordered something and it's on a dock in, Illinois or California, and you're trying to get it to New Hampshire. Instead of taking a few days, it might take a few weeks until the trucking can be fulfilled to get that product here for distribution. Yeah.
So looking forward, what are your thoughts looking forward?
Well, I think number one, our customers have to be really good planners, and planners that plan much further out than they've ever planned before. I mean, honestly, you're a grower, Michael. You can almost do your ordering with your eyes closed from year to year. When things are coming in, but I think if you were thinking about buying things 3 or 4 weeks out, even simple things, you got to start looking 3 or 4 months out for the simple things. And don't be afraid to over order and make sure you have what you need. That's another thing too, is just get things when you can. You never know when there's going to be a shortage. It could be a shortage of, fertilizer, or, pesticides, or pots, or growing mix, or whatever. So being
stainless steel screws.
Being a good planner is going to be really important. I honestly, I think something that is a bit stressful for everybody to deal with is also raising prices. Every time you raise prices, you're nervous because you think, oh my God, people are going to go somewhere else and buy the same product. But in order to keep up with the rising costs, you have to raise your prices. And, people are going to buy. People are going to continue to buy. But, you're not in business to give things away.
Exactly.
So, what's really tough about raising prices is you have to also really look at your financials pretty closely, and make sure that your margins are good and they remain good. So if you know your costs and you know your revenues, just stay really dialed in with the numbers to keep pace with everything.
Gotcha. Do you see steel prices coming back down eventually? Do you think this is a blip, or do you think this is for the long term?
Well, I don't think anything's going to change this year. I don't see any return to normal supply chains until maybe next year. I don't know if steel will come down or not. I know in talking to our steel suppliers, besides just the crazy demand and supply, tariffs have affected steel supply. I don't know what's going to change with the Biden administration. But who knows? It's unpredictable what's going to happen next year.
Absolutely.
I mean, unfortunately, in the economy, I think we're going to see double-digit inflation. That might start to slow things down a bit, but that's where we're at right now.
Absolutely. All right. So someone who was maybe planning on buying a greenhouse this year, but they stopped because of the increase in prices. Do you have any tips for like maximizing efficiency in their current houses?
I would consider, really growing crops that are a little bit more unique so they could get more dollars per square foot. That's one suggestion. And I think that more and more people have to really begin to consider growing year round with crops. Again, just it all adds up to dollars per square foot.
Yeah.
How much can you get out of that heated or unheated structure that you have?
Yeah.
I think that the old adage with farmers is it used to be very seasonal, work really hard for 9-10 months of the year and take 2 months off. I think things are changing where it's more year round, and you got to just try to pace yourself a little bit better, but keep the cash flowing.
Yeah. You look at the Arnolds, who actually, went from like 7 or 8 months out of the year to now 12 months out of the year. And a number of other growers are doing the same thing, just adding those couple winter months, and people want the product. So that's definitely out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bob, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate you coming on and kind of sharing a little bit about, kind of the greenhouse industry. I know it's a huge thing. And again, covered production is where the money is for farmers. So, these tunnels are so important. But, I know so many people reached out and were like, Michael, the price just went up 25% for the greenhouse structure. Why is that? And I figured having you on to explain would be awesome. So thanks so much for coming on.
My pleasure. And good luck to all the growers out there. And hopefully 21 is a very fruitful year for all.
All right. Thanks again.
Yep. Bye-bye.
So there you have it, another episode in the books. So I'd love if you would hop on over to iTunes and leave us a rating and a review. Those mean everything to us. We love to hear what you're thinking. If you have a podcast guest that you can recommend, please pop on over to the Thriving Farmer Podcast website and leave us a review. That's thrivingfarmerpodcast.com.